Hello everybody and welcome. Today I am going to do a very simple Indian dish called chicken tandoori. Now, the thing I love about this is when you're wondering what am I going to make for dinner and you have chicken fillets there, this is so easy, so easy. You just throw everything into this dish here, let it marinate for a couple of hours and then bung it in the oven. In fact, if you don't even have a couple of hours, which I have done as well, I've just bunged it in the oven straight away and not let it marinate. But the thing I like about it, there aren't a whole lot of herbs in here. There's not a whole lot of spices in here. So it's only a couple of things that you need to put in here to transform the chicken into something absolutely delicious. This is my daughter Anna's favourite way to eat chicken. Okay, so in here, I've just a whole bunch of chicken fillets. I probably have 6 chicken fillets in here, quite big ones. And I've cut them up into more kind of bite-sized pieces, almost like goujon-sized pieces. And the only reason I've done that is to stretch it further. Because if I have chicken fillets in portions here, they'll eat a whole big chicken fillet, and they don't really need a whole big chicken fillet. Anyway, next thing I'm going to do is slice my onions. So I didn't have any normal onions, I only had red onions, but they're going to do fine. I peeled them, and now I'm going to just slice them into little strips. I've taken the top and the tail off them so that whenever I have them all sliced up here nicely, they'll just spread out and won't stick together like that. Actually, the onion part of this dish is my favourite part because it really absorbs all the spices and the flavours that go in here, and you know, just to chew on some of the onion after it's cooked in the spices is wonderful. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do the other one myself. I put 2 onions in here because that's my favourite part of this dish. If it's not your favourite part, 1 onion is fine. In fact, you don't even have to put any onions. I forgot to get my grater. Sorry, I'll just run and grab it here. Super quick. Wonderful that I can just find it. Doesn't happen all together that well. Now, I have my thumb of ginger. This is one I just took out of the freezer. I already had it peeled and in portion size in a Ziploc bag, and I keep them in my freezer that way. And you'll find that they actually, they grate very easily when they're frozen. That might put you off freezing them. You might think that they'd be too hard, but they're not. Look how easy, it's actually nearly easier to grate them frozen than it is just normal. And as I've said before in other videos, I find fresh ginger is one of those items in the house that I find it hard to keep fresh. And occasionally when I want to use it, I don't have it, or I have it, but it's this really woody looking shriveled up thing in the back of the press. So I find this way is brilliant. I always have fresh ginger, and there really is no substitute to having fresh ginger in a dish. Although I will say those little boxes that you get in Aldi of frozen ginger, frozen garlic, frozen herbs, they're fantastic. Absolutely brilliant. I highly recommend them. Now, I'm using one of those giant garlic cloves that come like that. If you're not using a giant one, maybe use, I do think these are a little bit milder than using normal garlic cloves. So just use maybe 2 garlic cloves and crush it up in here. This is where you need your strength. Should be drinking my Guinness to get strength here, shouldn't I? So I will crack on and I will put the rest of this in here later on, but just so you know, 2 cloves of garlic in here. The next thing is my lemons. I need to squeeze 2 lemons in here. Look what I got. Fantastic little lemon squeezer job. I love the fact that I don't have to wash anything, and all I have to do is wash this thing afterwards. I'm not washing those big plastic squeezers and then the container that they come in. Don't know if any of you have any of you also have issues with cutting down on the washing up. I'm all for that. Right, so I'm going to put 1 more lemon in here. Now, if you think that this is too sharp with 2 lemons, just use 1 lemon. That's the nice thing about any cooking. You can adjust any recipe to suit your own palate. It doesn't have to be the way that the recipe says. That's just really a guide, honestly. So go with your gut, go with what suits you, suits your family. And the same goes for using spices. Now, the next thing I have is my Greek yogurt, Greek style natural yogurt. It doesn't have to be Greek style. I'm using low fat. You can get fat free or you can use full fat, whatever you like. We have a family wedding coming up in August. Our eldest son is getting married, so hence the low fat recipes. And you may have noticed I haven't been on in a while because I'm trying not to bake sweet things. I really am, because I want to look good on his wedding day. So anyway, 4 tablespoons of natural yogurt in here, and then I think it's just 1 tablespoon, yeah, 1 tablespoon of this absolutely delicious tandoori spice mix. You can get it in most supermarkets. My mother-in-law gave me this jar ages ago and it's still good, and it's nice to keep it in a sealed jar. Let me tell you what I just discovered recently about spices. I'll actually show you. I just went to an Asian shop, an Asian market, and I just want to show you the difference. This is the way you buy them in the Asian markets, right? Nice big 1 kilo bag of spices, as opposed to, I think there's 40 grams in these little jars that you buy. These little jars, we reckoned that at the very cheapest these are €1, and this bag here is about €7. So we reckoned that, and honestly you'd find it hard to find a spice jar for €1. They're usually €2. But we reckoned that for 40 grams you would buy, this is worth 28 cents. So we're saving a fortune by buying these big bags of spices. And if you haven't been to an Asian market like me, oh, it's such a treat. It's such, you know, to see all those wonderful seeds and spices and different kinds of rices and fabulous oriental food that you see in recipes, and if you're like me, you're like, where would I get them? So last thing in here is a pinch of salt. And I'm going to mix these all up. Oh, olive oil is the other thing. Little splash of olive oil, maybe about a tablespoon of olive oil through there. It's probably 2 actually. You can leave the olive oil out if you're trying to make this a super low-cal, sin-free recipe, okay? Mix everything all up together. And if you can leave it in the fridge overnight, wonderful. Your chicken will be super, super tender. If you don't have time to do that, you can whack it straight in the oven. But if you have an hour would make a massive difference to this dish. Now, I have extra chicken in here than the original recipe called for. So I'm just going to put another 2 tablespoons of yogurt in there, just to make it a little bit more moist. As I said, all recipes are really just guides to where you want to be. So as the Irish expression says, footer around, play around with it yourself. Now I'm going to add the rest of the garlic and the onion, but in the meantime just cover it, leave it in the fridge. I'm going to pop mine into the oven straight away because they'll be coming home from school starving, and I want to show you what it's like to be finished, okay? So I think it goes into quite a hot oven. Yeah, because you want that nice blackened look on the top. So I'm going to crank my oven right up to about 220, and I'm going to leave it in there for about half an hour to 40 minutes. Okay. Guys, look at this wonderful chicken. It looks absolutely, smells amazing, looks amazing. So I'm going to serve that with some lovely salad and a little bit of rice. It's just a great, actually, do you know what it's lovely with? The focaccia soda bread that I made and the pistachio and feta dip. Just divine. We had it here the other night and absolutely delicious. Excuse my attire now. I'm getting ready to go out into the garden because if I don't leave this house the house consumes me and I never get out to the garden. So I'm getting out to the garden today. So that's why I had to change. I hope you have a lovely Thursday. Today is Thursday, and managed to get outside for a bit. It's really important. Something I struggle big time with is just getting out of the house. So there's my little sharing. God bless everybody. See you soon.